Damon Martin, MMA fighting here with one of the best featherweight fighters in the world. And we're finally talking when he's in a main event. It's about freaking time. Giga Chikadze, welcome back, Giga. How are you?
Good, my friend. How are you?
I'm fantastic, man. Obviously, you can hear my excitement. I know we've talked many times over this past year. You've been kind of waiting for this moment. You've been waiting to finally get the showcase. You got the main event. You got the top 10 opponent. How excited are you to finally have a date and an opponent like Edson Barboza?
It's definitely exciting, man. It's been a long time coming, and finally we got it. So
absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. What was your, we spoke after, a couple months ago when obviously Max and Yair fell apart. You tried to jump in to fight Yair. They offered you the fight. Obviously he didn't take it. I know you were kind of frustrated at that point, but it wasn't too long after that we heard about the Edson Barboza fight. So when you got that call, what was your reaction? Were you happy? Were you just like, finally, like, what was your reaction?
So this is a fight that definitely was always interesting for me. I really wanted to have no hard feelings with him, but I mean, since he's an exciting fighter, I definitely was looking for this fight for a long time. Somehow I was thinking that I was going to get like a more higher ranked opponent, but come on, it's Edson Barboza. Everybody know his name. I want a W against him too. So it's a good resume on my record for the future. So I'm looking forward for this one.
Yeah, and it's a main event, which obviously helps, right? I mean, you always want to have a chance to headline an event, and this is a big one for that, right? Like, there's always a bonus to that.
Oh yeah. It's a big thing for my country. No one was so far from Georgia who headlined the show, and I'm very excited for this one. It's a big. A little bit like the pressure, I would say, too, from the, like I'm representing my country, and it's the biggest fight in Georgian MMA history. And but I enjoyed this pressure too, because this is what I wanted for a long time, and finally I got it.
Absolutely. I don't want to ask a negative question, Giga, but I want to ask you this. When we spoke last time, obviously you tried to get the fight with Yair. He didn't take it. And as of right now, I know Dana White said the other day they're going to try to rebook Yair and Max for November. But again, I know that's not a done deal just yet because Max is still dealing with whatever injury it was he had. You've moved on. You got Edson Barboza now. But can you kind of give me your opinion on the Yair Rodriguez situation? Only because it's such a weird one. Like, he's been out for so long. And I felt like that was a perfect fight for you and a perfect fight for him. He didn't take it. And now we're hearing maybe November. So it's like another 5 months later. Like, again, I'm not asking you to trash the guy, but like, what is your opinion on the Yair, considering where he's at in the division? Yet, obviously he hasn't fought for quite a while now.
I don't know, man. Each fighter has their own different mindset, different goals in the life, in the career. Definitely, my goal is to get the title as fast as possible. But plus, I'm a true fan, a future favorite fighter, maybe already a favorite fighter. I'm the one that enjoys the fighting. This is what I love. Let's say when while interview, when people don't know well and they ask me like, "What's your hobby?" I've thought about it. Like, what's my hobby? What I do for fun, what I love the most, and fighting is my hobby. Besides I'm a professional fighter and I live with this life. This is my hobby. This is what I enjoy the most. Training and fighting. I cannot stand, like, let's say if somebody pull out my opponent, I don't understand how can I say no to the fight, especially when it's a very similar, like a striker to striker matchup. I would not have much time to prepare this fight, but I would step in for this fight and definitely would buy the fans' heart with this fight. Which would give more respect to Yair as well. Look, He hasn't fought since 2019 October. And at that time, I signed the contract to UFC. Can you imagine? Like, I fought the 6th time. I'm fighting my 7th fight, and this guy hasn't fought for 2 years, and he's like the top 5 ranked fighter, and he's having a chance to fight Max Holloway, and if we got the W, to be one of the top 1 contender. It just does not sound fair to me. But I don't know, man. I'm not mad, you know. I'm very happy, man, with what I'm doing, where I am right now. You know, I believe this fight is a big deal, and I'm super happy and motivated for this one.
Absolutely. We know, and Giga, you know this as well as anyone, the UFC rewards guys who are willing to step in, step up, you know, take those kind of moments. Here you are in a main event against Edson Barboza. Everything goes well on August 28th. You got to imagine they're going to give you a big opportunity after that. I mean, obviously you'd be within a fight or two at most of a title shot. But at that point, you know, you got to be looking at those kind of fights. And you know the UFC loves guys like yourselves who are willing to step in and help save a card or take a short notice fight when they need it. So, you know, a win here, I think they will reward you. At least that's the way I feel.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, so far from my experience, they showed a lot of love to me. You know, since my November knockout against the Jamie Simons, you know, I talked to Dana straight right after the fight. I stepped in and told him that I want the next co-main and after that main event. And he's doing the work, you know. He said yes. Since then, he kept his word. He's a man, and I'm enjoying all the feedback what I'm getting. After this fight, I want to headline the pay-per-view. So first thing first, and then we move to next one.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we get to Edson Barboza, let me mention, of course, you said you are the first Georgian to headline a UFC show. Now, we've seen a lot of talent coming out of Georgia lately, and obviously I know you guys, even if you don't train together, you're very supportive of each other. I'm a big wrestling guy. I know Georgia, you know, Georgia is so well known for wrestling. You know, that's what I always think of Georgia as wrestling, but obviously you're a phenomenal striker. We've seen other guys coming out of there. Like over the next, like, let's say 3 to 5 years, like how good is Georgia getting in mixed martial arts? Because we see a lot of guys, yourself, Marab Davashvili, obviously he's had a great run lately. I mean, it seems like Georgia's producing a lot of talent right now.
Yeah, it's funny that everyone has some wrestling background besides me. You know, like, they've been doing sambo, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, Greco-Roman, judo, all different. They are amazing, man. We just had not too long ago Olympic, and we got golds in all type of different wrestling, still different finalists. You know, the bronze medals. A lot of good stuff. Definitely, Georgia is well known with wrestling, but yeah, I'm different. You know, I'm different breed. You know, even my family was always in wrestling and big judo games. Unfortunately, I never experienced before, but every single time I go in Georgia, you know, I'm overwhelmed with this great talents and great experienced wrestlers who always want to put a little salt on top of my career and they're helping me to gain some wrestling experience, technique, judo techniques, which I've been doing a little bit of the stuff. Even this is not my thing, you know. I wanna prove everyone that I'm the best fighter and turning into best fighter mode. And yeah, I know that because of this, I have to get these all wrestling experiences, and all these kids who are coming, man, they are the beasts, you know. They are the beasts, especially from the time that we grow up in Georgia, you know, like we were moving forward and we didn't have a lot of different things, but we were training and experiencing the toughness in our life, which made us very strong minded people. And yeah, no matter where we are, no matter what we're doing, I know that these people are gonna grow in the future because there is no stop for them.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's talk about Edson Barboza. We know what he is. He's a phenomenal striker. very flashy knockouts, nasty kicks, one of the nastiest kickers in the history of the sport. But I know I always bring this up to you, Giga, because one thing you said to me a couple of interviews back, you said, "Listen, I'm completely confident saying I'm the best striker at 145 pounds right now." Now, this is a great test for that. Now, I know it's mixed martial arts, so of course you have submissions, you have a ground game, but you look at you and you look at Edson, immediately I get excited because this is, a battle between two premier strikers, two elite strikers. Again, the goal is the title. It's not becoming the best striker, it's becoming UFC champion. But do you feel like this is a great opportunity to back up that claim to say, hey, I am the best striker? Because we know how good Edson Barboza is. The guy, again, very respectful guy. I don't think there's going to be a bad word said between you guys, but this is a really, really fun fight.
Definitely, he's flashy, exciting, powerful, strong, kicker, striker, whatever you can call, but he's done everything against way lower level strikers. There are levels in this game, in a striking game especially. What has he done in kickboxing or karate, or what is his accomplishment? I understand that he's beautiful when you doing the spinning, beautiful highlight kick against somebody who never did any high level striking fight. But all this for me is nothing. I respect what he's done in MMA, definitely, but depends who you do against with, and I don't see anything new to me, and I'm just going to prove it. I'm just going to prove everybody wrong that when they are matching me with this name or any other people that, oh, he's good, but he's better or something, I'm just gonna shut everybody's mouth. Whatever. That's what I'm gonna do. 28 August. He's good. He's not bad. I'm not saying this. He's really good. But against who? So we'll see 28 August.
Yeah. When you deal with a guy who has a lot of diversity in his striking, we mentioned the flashy kicks, the spin kicks, things like that. He does throw a lot. And listen, those are the things you have to be aware of. You're very fundamental, but we talk about, I love talking about your Giga kick, when you just destroy somebody's liver. Very fundamental. You don't have to go out there and, you can throw spinning stuff. I'm sure you can, but you just stated the fundamentals and you just decimate guys. You take them apart. But do you always have to be aware of that with a guy like Edson? You always have to be aware that he will try to throw those kind of crazy spin kicks, the roundhouses and things like that. And I assume none of that really concerns you, though.
Yeah, definitely. If I fight like a regular guy, I might have a trouble, definitely, because as I said, all these flashy kicks and the nice highlight, different kicks, it works against somebody who's just a regular fighter. I'm not a regular fighter. I'm not just a fundamental guy. I have all these what he has done in MMA, and I have probably 10 times more things. I just keep my style fundamental because it's working great against the guys who are in MMA these days. When you go to striking fight, let's say the highest level kickboxing fight, and you fight, and we both are the fundamentals, that's when you bring all the flashy strikings, and that's what gives you the difference at the time. So I'm going to test his fundamentals first, and then I'm going to go and do highlights in this fight.
Yeah. Your last couple of fights, Giga, you've had such spectacular finishes. I mentioned the Giga kick, which is very famous, of course. We've talked about that in the past. But when you look at Edson Barboza, we know how tough he is. But what would it mean to you to go out there and knock out or finish a guy like Edson, considering the way you finished your last two fights? And I imagine you're not trying for it necessarily, but do you imagine that's the way this fight ends? You will finish Edson Barboza in similar fashion to your last two opponents.
Definitely, I'm going to look for a knockout, and I'm going to do my best to finish this guy in early beginning of the rounds. This means a lot to me, not because of his accomplishments and stuff. Of course, there's one thing, he's a big name and stuff, but he fought my friend who I want to get back this win.
So as we were saying, obviously with that, now, again, I'm not looking past Edson Barboza, so I don't want to make it seem like I'm doing that at all. But if everything goes well on August 28th and you get a big knockout over Edson Barboza as you're predicting, do you feel like that's got to put you within one fight of a title shot? I mean, at that point, there's not a lot of options in front of you.
I want straight title. I want to be the replacement fighter after when September the Brian and Volkanovski gonna fight. I want to be the replacement in this fight. Why not to give me the title? I'm a 9-win streak, 7 from UFC, and what I've done in my life, I believe no one has done inside UFC in kickboxing and karate games.
Absolutely. Let me ask your opinion. You want to be the replacement for that fight after you fight Edson Barboza in August. Do you have, I mean, assuming obviously you'd love to jump in and just fight for the title, but do you have a prediction in that fight between Volkanovski and Ortega? Do you favor one over the other?
I like Brian's style. He's good in boxing and he's good in jiu-jitsu, but I believe that Volkanovski is a tougher opponent, a tougher matchup for him because this guy is every round. He comes forward and he's very his volume, it never ends. He always comes forward and he never slows down. It's a big test for Brian. It's exciting matchup, definitely. And I'm looking forward for it.
Yeah, absolutely. With that being said, you mentioned, possibly jumping in as a replacement, and we have seen this fight, unfortunately, fall apart before. So I assume after everything goes well, let's say you knock out Edson Barboza in the 3rd round, you're just going to stay ready, right? You got a month until the title fight. You're just going to stay ready?
I'm going to stay right there. I'm going to talk to Dana straight right after my fight. I mean, honestly, I don't like to say now this because I have a mission, whatever I said earlier about the Barboza fight, to prove it. I'm very, very confident, but I'm confident in this because of my hard work. I'm very focused every day. There is no free day for me. Just waiting and counting every day, days and the minutes and hours and seconds for this fight. And right after, I don't know what's gonna come in my mind because the energy, what I feel right after, it's like I cannot explain because it just comes naturally, So probably you guys gonna see me right after. The most honest Giga, usually that's what happens because I can't hide the feelings and I just bring the straight.
Absolutely. Well, Giga, I'm so happy you got this main event. As I said, I know we've spoken many times in this past year. The run you've been on, huge win streak. You deserve this. I'm glad you got it. I think this is a fantastic fight. I know you got a lot of respect for Edson. I'm sure he has a lot of respect for you, but this is a great fight. And hopefully we can talk afterwards. We can talk about a big win and we can talk about what comes next at that point, right?
For sure. Absolutely.
Giga, thank you as always for your time. Obviously, safe training the rest of the way. Safe travels out to Vegas for the fight. And thank you for taking the time for me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks again for your interest. Real quick, big shout out to my sponsors, the Sideline Sports Club, Jarabet, Reef LA, and Models. All the supporters, whoever helped me for this fight, because it was a really big challenge to prepare for this fight. And talk to you soon, brother.